For everything that you've been through in the last 7 years and that you've put yourself through, does it become even harder to take the defeat today, quite how close you were?
I don't know, to be honest. I'm obviously very disappointed just now. Yeah, obviously you never know how many opportunities you're going to get to play here. So, yeah, the defeats maybe, yeah, feel a bit tougher. But to be honest, every year that Wimbledon's not gone how I would like, it's been hard.
Did any of the match change, do you think, given you had to come back and play on a second day? Or did nothing change in your mind based on that?
I don't know, to be honest. I'd have to see the match again to see. I mean, it does change. It's different playing indoors and outdoors. It's not the same conditions.
How frustrating was it, Andy, given the position you were in last night, that you couldn't finish the match then?
Well, you never know what would have happened. So, the same result could have happened. We knew that we were only going to be able to play until 11 o'clock. So you're kind of playing to a time. It was unlikely if there was any split sets or anything that we were going to finish yesterday. So we knew the situation going into the match, and that's how it was.
I guess when you're ahead, it's always going to maybe work against you, and when you're behind, it's always going to be a little bit of an encouragement to stop.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm sure there's some data out there to see whether that makes any difference or not. I'm not sure. I think I don't necessarily think it necessarily favors someone more than another. Just the way that you're playing in totally different conditions from one day to the next. That's the biggest change, regardless of who's up in the score. It's quite different.
And did you want to play on for those 20 minutes last night? Would you have liked to play to 11 o'clock?
No, I mean, I didn't necessarily think it was appropriate to keep going, because we weren't going to. It was highly unlikely we finish the match unless someone was to win the set. It was unlikely someone was going to win that set in 20 minutes or 19 minutes, whatever we had left to play. So it seemed like a reasonable time to stop.
Andy, what was the injury last night, and how did it feel today?
I wouldn't describe it as an injury. I'd obviously slipped. I had some, initial pain and discomfort when that happens. It's like a sort of jarring of the joint. Can be a little bit sore, but I pulled up okay today.
And how would you just assess your level of play after this, at this point?
I'm not sure. There was some things I did very well, others things that I did poorly. Obviously only lost serve once across. I think I only lost serve once across 5 sets. But my return game was not good enough.
There was a big moment at 4-all in the fourth when you got a bit of momentum going at 15:30. Your return got called out and it was actually in the show. Do you realise at the time how close that was? You consider
the 15:30 point, my return was in. Yeah. Well. Yeah, I mean, that's obviously frustrating because I remember it. I think it was like a backhand cross-court return, very short, and I probably would have won the point. So, yeah.
Andy, we've seen sometimes if matches are played under the roof and then you come back the next day and you carry on under the roof, is there any discussion about whether it would be under the roof or with the roof open? We
were told we were playing outdoors last night. There wasn't a discussion.
Would you have liked to carry on under the
roof? I think my opinion is that this is an outdoor tournament. They should be trying their hardest to play as much tennis outdoors as possible. so yeah, I think they should try to play as much of the matches outdoors as they can.
In light of that, Andy, and obviously we don't know how the match would have gone if it continued last night, but do you think they need to perhaps re-examine this 1:30 start, which obviously reduces the amount of time that matches can be played outdoors?
I don't know. Wimbledon make their decisions. There's more. It's obviously not just what's best for the players. There's obviously other things like TV and hospitality and those sorts of things that are factored into those decisions. So I'm sure they're weighing all of those things up to try and make the right decision for the event. And I don't know whether they think that it's been good or not. I don't know how they decide on that.
Andy, you'd asked before the start of the championships not to always have the evening match, and last night you're put on final on centre again. How did you feel about that?
I knew that was going to be the case. I asked pre-tournament not to play at that time because of the potential disruption, changing conditions. But like I said, it's there's many factors that go into those sort of decisions, and the players shouldn't necessarily just be able to make requests and get what they want. There's, like I said, many factors that go into it.
Andy, given the atmosphere particularly last night, are those the moments that will help carry you through moments like this and sustain you?
Look, I mean, obviously it's brilliant to play in great atmospheres, and it's makes playing the matches more enjoyable and creates certainly better memories. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, this was an opportunity for me. I had a good chance of having a proper run for the first time in a long time at a slam, and I didn't take it. So regardless of the atmosphere and those things, it's still very, very disappointing to be sitting here right now.
Just for that return at 15:30 that actually landed in, was there any particular reason at the time that you didn't challenge? Because normally you are quite good at challenging balls that are even a little bit out.
Well, I mean, it was right underneath the umpire's nose. They shouldn't be missing that, to be honest. And if they're unsure, they should let the player know, I think. But I mean, could only have been a couple of meters from where it was such a sharp angle, and it was very short. So I assumed the umpire would have made, the right call. The lines person, I think, called it out. The umpire called it out. So yeah, I mean, you can obviously argue it's a mistake on my part, but ultimately the umpires made a poor call that's right in front of her.
Just on that, Andy, what's your view on automation as against human line judges?
Right now, I obviously would rather it was done automatically. It's a hard one because I probably prefer having the lines judges, on the court. I think, I don't know, feels nicer to me. The challenges, I think the crowd quite like it. I think for TV, I think they probably quite like it. But yeah, when mistakes are getting made in important moments, then yeah, obviously as a player, you don't want that.
Obviously, and it's
all else being equal, Andy, how confident are you that you'll be back here next year?
I don't know. yeah, motivation is obviously a big thing, and you know, continuing, you know, having early losses in, you know, tournaments like this don't necessarily help with that. And yeah, it's, you know, similar to, I guess, to last year. You know, I had a long think about things and spoke to my family, and you know, decided to, you know, to keep on going. I don't plan to stop right now. But yeah, this one take a little while to get over, and you know, hopefully find the motivation again to keep, you know, to keep training, keep pushing, and try and keep getting better.
And coming so close to beating the world number 5, Andy, do you think that strengthens or weakens your resolve that you can beat the very best players in the Grand Slams in future?
Well, I mean, I certainly could have beaten him today or yesterday. You know, I've obviously earlier in the year had a, you know, a great win against Berrettini, who was, you know, top player at the time. He's obviously had his injuries this year, but yeah, I certainly can. It's clear based on, you know, how the match went. I mean, there's only a few points in it today. But it's also like, it's not just about winning the odd match against them, really. You know, to have a run at these tournaments, you know, you need multiple wins in a row. And yeah, I've obviously not done that. So